All right, so Dejounte Murray just had a season-ending injury with his Achilles rupture, and I had to look into it and make a video about it. And doing my research, I forgot that he had torn his ACL earlier as well. And so I started looking at that and looking at the rehab that he was doing for that. And it's no surprise. We're going to go through the footage. If you've seen my channel before, you know where I'm going with this, with movement patterns and everything. It's no shock that Murray, ended up tearing his ACL and his Achilles in the same leg too, same side. So we're going to go through it, starting with the ACL tear here. I'm just going to play the clip fully here. Boom, there it is. We got one. This shows a little more zoomed up here. There it is again. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to do slow-mo on it, of course. So let's back it up here. So all non-contact ACL tears look exactly the same. If you don't believe me, watch some other videos on my channel. I show you exactly what I mean, but we're going to see it right here too. So it says right leg. It's going to start with a heel strike. So boom, there it is. There's the heel strike. Let me get even closer on here. So here goes heel strike, and then what we're going to see is the knee collapse inward. And boom, just like that, right as he loads all that pressure, and then he tries to push off, boom. So heel strike, foot is glued to the ground there, knee collapses in, boom, shred. So this clip, I like this clip because it's more clear, but it's just not a good angle. But we can see it here. Heel strike, boom, and then that knee collapses in right there. And what's happening here is as the knee collapses in, that thigh bone is turning inwards, but he's trying to push off at the same time. And so that shin bone is trying to turn outwards. And that's what creates the immense shear forces that just shreds the ACL. And we're going to look into what his rehab for this was. So right here, he's taught his body that it's okay to not just put the heel on the ground, but to load his weight, his pressure onto that heel and then push off. So keeping that in mind, let's look at his rehab. And I could only find 2 clips of his rehab process for this ACL tear, and they're pretty similar. So this is him on some kind of slant board, for stability. And we can just see it here. Let me pause. This is the same leg, right? And look at that. His heel is completely flat on this board. And that's exactly not what we want, right? He's just reinforcing those movement behaviors that caused the injury in the first place. And then here's another one. This one's a little harder to see. It's a little bubble ball that he sits on. And same thing, heel is totally planted down, right? I mean, you can tell he is putting his weight through his heels here. And so I'm going to go back to this one because I just like it more. So what's the point of these exercises, right? Obviously, the athletic trainers, PTs, whoever's working with him knows what they're doing, right? To some extent. The purpose of these exercises are to strengthen the muscles around the tendon or joint, right, ligament where the injury was. And then they're also just hitting on balance and stability, which is great, whatever. The problem is, lack of strength is not what caused this injury. Dejounte Murray is already strong, right? He's freakishly athletic. It's his movement patterns that cause this injury. Now, if you were to go into this position, this exercise that he's doing right here, I mean, you would feel it. You'd feel it in the muscles around the knee joint. So it's doing exactly what they want it to do, but what they're not taking into account is the overall system, right, of his movement patterns, meaning this exercise is still teaching his body to load weight in his heel and then push off of that heel. That's it. And we're going to see that exact same thing when he tears his Achilles. Shocker. So let me speed up first. So here he is. He's coming down. And I'm going to freeze it. So it's that same right leg. So right about here. It's just the toes come down right here. Okay. This position, he could have stopped right here. Foot, the heel doesn't go any further down. And he could push off the balls of his feet. He'd be totally safe. He could have stopped right here if he had trained his body to do so, his nervous system. But through rehab and probably, all the weight training and stuff that he's done, he's taught his nervous system that, one, it's okay to put the heel down on the ground, and two, to load it, put your weight on it and then try to push off. And so he's preparing, I should say, to push off of this right leg. And so that's why his foot doesn't stop coming down, because he's taught his body to, we want to push off. Well, we were trained to push off our heel off of the ground, so we got to get our heel on the ground, right? So we can load our weight on it and push it. So that's why it just keeps going until boom, it's on the ground. Now, this position, your foot's in extreme dorsiflexion. This is a compromising position no matter what kind of movement patterns, or weight training that you do. No doubt about that. You never want to be in this position ever, regardless. But his body doesn't know that. Nobody's body knows that. Our bodies don't know that this position, especially at the highest level, causes tears, right? And ruptures tendons. It doesn't know that. All it knows is, hey, we train with our heels on the ground. We load our weight through our heels and we push off of our heels. That's all you're teaching your body. And so that's what his body's trying to do, because that's what he's trained. And so that heel comes down. He's trying to push off of it, but it's just a bad position regardless to be in. And that's what's going to cause the tear, right? So I feel really bad for him, genuinely. I wish the best. He has such a good work ethic, and I love watching his game. But I feel bad because I'm sure that his rehab process is going to be the same, or very similar, I should say, to his ACL rehab, right? Meaning exercises done with his heels planted on the ground. And it's such a shame because long term, that's not going to fix anything for him. And he's just going to be just as likely to injure something or re-injure. And it's a shame. He really needs to just fix his movement patterns, and that would fix this problem, non-contact injury wise. So, that's it. I mean, I've done videos on Kevin Durant's Achilles rupture. These non-contact injuries look the same. You can see the other videos I've done on my channel. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If there's anything I missed or arguments that you want to make about me being wrong, I'm all here for it, for the discussion and conversation. Please like, comment, subscribe, help this channel grow. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.